Okay, now let's continue with this 10 bad path of action. We all need to know more about this about these actions when they are related to our body, our speech, and our mind, and they are bad actions with bad retributive with um, with very unpleasant retributive effects that will ripen in the realm of desire, and very likely in the three lower realms, in the three lower planes of the miserable beings, like in the hells and in hungry ghost as animals. So the first three are related to our body. The first one is killing. So what is killing? By definition, killing is intentionally and accurately taking the life of another being. So we need to pay attention to a few key points. First of all, it is intentional. It is an intentional action. It's like if you think in this way, I can kill that person, I may not kill him as well, whatsoever, then it is not an intentional killing. Intentional means you are determined. You want to kill this person A. There's a very, very strong intention. And the second point is that it is an accurately taking the life of another. So accurately means if you want to kill person A, so you killed person A. You do not kill person B mistakenly. So you have accurately taken the life that you want to kill. So that is accurately. Also, the taking the life, it means means the action has been completed. The person you intentionally you want to kill is actually killed, is dead. So that's taking the life. That's what it means. If killing is established as a bad path of action, and also it's a killing another being. Namely, if you kill yourself, if you commit a suicide, it is of course a bad action, but it is not established as a bad path of action. Now, well, of course, for example, according to the Diamond School, killing oneself, suicide, in a way, is even more serious than killing another person. So this is the first one, the first bad path of action related to body. The second one is stealing. And by definition, stealing is intentionally and accurately taking what belongs to another. So the words intentionally and accurately have similar meanings as what we just explained when it comes to killing. So intentionally, you want to steal, and accurately, you want to steal belongings belongings of A, and you steal belongings of A, not of B or other person. And that it means you have moved that thing from one place to another. Also, what belongs to another? Of course, you take things that belongs to another, not belong to yourself. Makes no sense when you take things that belongs to yourself and establish stealing as a bad action. So this is about stealing. And the next one, the last bad path of action related to body is sexual misconduct. And by definition, it means engaging in intercourse with inappropriate partners or inappropriate bodily parts at inappropriate place or inappropriate time. So we all know what that means, actually. I just want to mention that by saying inappropriate partner, it also includes close relatives. And inappropriate bodily parts, it means that you should not have intercourse with bodily parts other than the sex organ. But even when having intercourse with one's own with one's own partner, with one's own wife or husband. And then if it happens at inappropriate place, for example, in a temple or close to a stupa, uh, like that. So that's going to be inappropriate place. And then inappropriate time, for example, during the daytime or during a period of a woman or during her pregnancy or during one's 1 day fast. These are inappropriate times. So if we engage ourselves in intercourse with these inappropriate time or space or bodily parts or partners and so on, well, then it is sexual misconduct as a bad path of action. Then we have also 4 bad paths of action related to speech. The first one is false speech. By definition, it means intentionally altering another's understanding. So again, it is intentionally, and then it is trying to alter others' understanding. And by understanding, it also means actually when you say it, when you lie, people actually have understood you. And if they have understood you, your speech will become a false speech. If they don't, if you try to lie to other people with, of course, with a bad intention, but they don't understand you, then it is not a false speech. Instead, it is a frivolous speech, which we will talk about it in very soon. Now, the next kind of speech that is established as a bad path of action is divisive speech. And it is, by definition, it is a speech tending to cause disagreement or hostility between people, between 2 groups, or maybe sanghas. And there is a difference between this one and a false speech in a way that when you say something with an intention to cause disagreement or hostility between people or sangha, no matter they understand you or not, and no matter what the result it comes out to be, if you have managed to cause the disagreement or hostility, or you have not managed to, as long as you have said that speech, as long as you have spoken it out loud, it becomes a divisive speech. And then the next one related to speech is that there is harsh. If you say really harsh words with dirty words, or you curse people and so on, these words are very unpleasant to the ear. And as long as they are understood by others, once you say it, it is harsh speech. If you say words very unpleasant to the ear, however, they don't understand it or they haven't understood it, then we don't say it is harsh speech. Instead, it's frivolous speech. So what is frivolous speech? It is defiled or meaningless talk, very idle and superficial. So frivolous speech actually has a very wide range. It can cover many different talks or speech. For example, it can also include some, well, according to some scholars, it can also include singing due to desire. If you sing some Buddhism songs of Buddhism, or if you sing some music that can help you calm down, to help you cultivate some good actions, of course, we would not say that it belongs to frivolous speech. However, if you sing only for the pursuit of desire and things like that, or if you tell stories for the purpose with the purpose of pleasing other people, and in order to gain some fortune or to gain some reputation and so on, or if you recite contents from books of outsiders in a speech which might mislead people in their views and so on, this kind of speech, they all belong to frivolous speech. There's one thing about harsh speech. When I say that sometimes people use a little bit harsh words, there is one exception, probably when like for example, when parents they want to show their kids, or they want to teach their kids about some right behaviors, or when teachers in the schools they want to educate their students in a way that they can understand, or they can have a better behaviors in a daily life. They might use some harsh words as well. However, since they do not have a bad intention, and quite the opposite. When a parent educates their kids, or when teachers teach their students, uh, although the words could be a little bit harsh sometimes, they don't normally have bad intentions, and quite the opposite. They have good intentions, trying to help. So in that case, we will not say that it belongs to harsh speech, mainly because of the absence of bad intentions. Next, we have three bad passive actions related to mind, and they are greed, harmfulness, and false view. So the greed, as we know, by definition, it is irrational craving for others' possessions and so on. And of course, we also understand that it is not limited to only to possessions, to fortunes or personal belongings. It can also be an irrational desire for other people. That is also greed. And then harmfulness, it's by definition, they are thoughts of hatred and intention to harm beings. So obviously, harmfulness, if one has harmfulness in their mind, then next probably they will take some actions, because they have this intention to hate, to hurt people, to harm beings. Therefore, harmless is also a bad path of action as well. Then false view as the last. By definition, they are mostly views that deny causality or karmic retribution, the noble truth, and so on. And especially, we have to focus on the first one. If one denies causality, the cause and effect, this kind of false view is the most serious. That will probably, if it develops to a very serious level, it will cut off one's good roots, which we will talk about very soon. We'll talk about very soon now. So these are about the 10 bad paths of action. And these 10 good paths, we also, since we have 10 bad paths of action, we also, of course, have 10 good paths of action as well. They are exactly the opposite of these. For example, we have killing as one bad path of action. Then we do have abstaining from killing as a good path of action. But be aware that, especially according to Mahayana, a good path of action, like abstaining from killing, it's not just that we do not kill. It's not just no killing or not killing, but way more beyond it. If one practices a good path of action that is abstaining from killing, it actually means that he will not do the killing himself. Also, he will actively advise other people not to kill, and he will praise the non-killing behavior. Also, he will feel joyful for others' non-killing behavior as well. He will redirect all the merits from non-killing to sentient beings. And that is a standard according to Mahayana, of course, and that is way beyond just no killing. So this same spirit, the same essence, also applies to other good paths of action when one indeed take very active and has a very active attitude towards the good actions. Now it comes to the cutting off and re-arising of good roots. We talk about this for one reason, because we've just talked about the 10 bad paths of actions. And the last one, the false view, is directly related to cutting off of one's good roots. It arises from the false views. And in turn, if one's good roots if one has cut off his or her good roots, that will definitely affect one's cultivation of good dhammas and like disciplines and so on. So it is very important to us. We need to know in which cases our good roots might probably be cut off, and in case it happens, how can we recover our good roots? And of course, hopefully, it will not happen. So the cause of cutting off of the good roots is the false view, and not just an ordinary false view. It is about the false view of negation or non-existence, like uh, like the negation of the cause. If you say that there is no good or bad actions and you really believe in it, you think so, or if you have a negation of the effect, like you think that there's no retribution of good or bad actions, then this kind of negation of cause and effect as the false view will cut off one's good roots. And what do we mean by good roots? Well, we talk about the non-greed, non-hostility, and non-ignorance. These are the good roots. Then we have question, as for example the Jnana Prasthana Shastra, written by Katyayani. He says that the three bad roots of greed, hostility, and ignorance cut off wholesome roots, cut off the good roots or wholesome roots. But how can we understand this? As we just said, it is the false view of negation or non-existence that cuts off the good roots. So how do we understand it? So we have a metaphor to help us. It's like a group of bandits, a group of bad people. They came to village, they set fire to burn down the village. In that case, well, of course, we can also say that the fire burns down the village. But in many cases, we also say, or even prefer to say, that the bandits destroyed the village. We don't say the fire, we say the bandits. So, likewise, it is the false view that actually cuts off the good roots. However, the false view is triggered or arises from the bad roots like greed, hostility, and ignorance. So we can also say, as in this Shastra by Katyayani Putra, they say that the bad roots cut off the good roots. So this is a similar way of saying. So we just know that it is an indirect statement, but it is the false view that directly cuts off one's good roots. Then what kind of good roots are cut off? We will say that only the innate good roots in the realm of desire are cut off. So we have questions. Why only the Kamadhatu? Why only the realm of desire? Because with defilements in this realm of desire, people can't be reborn in higher realms or obtain samapatis and so on. So they don't even have the good roots to be born into higher realms, let alone being cutting off, letting alone to say that the good roots that belong to the higher realms will be cut off. So we say that the good roots to be cut off belong to the realm of desire. And the next question is, why the innate good roots? That's because it also takes gradual effort to cut off one's good roots. When the good roots, when one has cut off the innate good roots, at that moment, one's good roots due to preparatory efforts have long gone. That's why we say. So it also means that when one has cut off the good roots, the innate good roots, that is the moment his or her good roots are really cut off. So who can cut off the good roots? This is another question. Well, we say that not everyone can do it. Not everyone can do it. Only humans in the three continents, well, except the Uttarakuru, except the northern continent, of course. Why? Because sentient beings living in Uttarakuru, they do not really have bad intentions, and they don't have serious false views. So no, they were not cut off good roots, but but humans in the other three continents can, and not humans and not beings in the lower destinies like the hell beings, the hungry ghosts, or the animals, because they don't have sharp discernment as humans. For instance, the animals, they don't even know what is good, what is bad, so they don't have very sharp discernment as humans, and not gods as well. Why? Because the devas, they have divine eyes. They can see what is good, what is bad, and they can also see some part of karmic retribution. So when you can see it, how can you not believe it? How can you deny it? Right? So they won't cut off their good roots. Also, we say that both men and women can cut off the good roots, but not eunuchs. But not eunuchs. Because eunuchs, they have no good or bad wills stable enough. That's to say, they don't have bad wills strong enough or stable enough to cut off the good roots. And also only the intellectuals, not the passionate ones. The intellectuals, in one way, we say that we really welcome more intellectuals when it comes to hearing and reflection on the Dharma, so they can really understand it, and they will have very firm, very stable views, and that means they have very sharp faculties. However, intellectuals with sharp faculties, if unfortunately they cultivate false views, and it is them that will cut off the good roots. So it depends on which direction they go to. Hopefully, they have right views, and if they hold false views, that's very risky. And the next question is about re-arising with the good roots. If one has cut off the good roots, can they be recovered, or how can they be recovered? So the answer is the good roots could be recovered or re-arising by way of doubt or right view on the existence of the cause and effect, and so on. So by way of doubt, for instance, this person previously, he or she had a false view that he denied the existence of cause and effect. He denied good or bad actions or retribution of good or bad actions. And therefore, such a false view has cut off his or her good roots. And after a while, or later, maybe after a few years, he started to reflect. He started to doubt and ask himself or herself a question like, maybe this cause and effect exists. Maybe there are good or bad actions, and maybe there are retribution of good or bad actions. And when this kind of doubt arises, the total negation of cause, effect, retribution, and so on, that kind of negation disappears. And then that is the moment the good roots can be recovered. Well, it would be even better if this person holds a right view or gets the right view back, and he or she starts to believe that there is cause, there is effect, and there is a good, and there is the difference between good and bad actions, and there will be retributions of good or bad actions. So if he or she gets this right view back and hold it firmly, then of course the good root will be recovered, or we say will re-arise. But there is just one exception. If it is for those who commit the 5 anantaya actions, like killing one's own mother, killing one's own father, and so on. If people who commit this kind of very serious bad actions and at the same time cut off their good roots, then they don't have an opportunity to restore or recover their good roots in this life. They don't have that opportunity. At the earliest time, their good roots can be recovered or can re-arise when they get reborn into the hell, or when they leave the hell. Um, yes, that's the a special case. And another thing we need to be aware of is that usually, especially for Buddhist practitioners, they might have obtained discipline. And as we already know, that if one's good roots are cut off, the discipline will be gone, will be destroyed, will be abandoned. So the thing is, the destroyed or the abandoned disciplines will not automatically recover, will not be automatically recovered with re-arising of the good roots. If one has cut off one's good roots due to false views, and later he wants to have disciplines, then he must be aware that his previous disciplines have been destroyed already. And if he wants if he wants discipline, to have discipline, he has to find a way to re-obtain the discipline. That's that's what he's supposed to do. Okay, so for now we have also talked about the 10 bad passive actions, and one of them is the false view, which might cut off good roots. And so we have also talked about the cutting off and re-arising of these good roots. I believe these are very important to us, especially for Buddhist practitioners. This is the content for this lecture. We also have some exercises, so please take a look if you have time. That's for now. In the next lecture, we will continue with chapter 4, karma, and we will discuss on things like projecting and feeling actions, 3 obstructions, the 5 anataya karma, how Shakyamuni Buddha completed his Buddhahood, and 3 types of meritorious work. We will discuss about that. We will talk about those topics in the next lecture. That is for now.